Hi there, I'm Vincent Bos, and I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and breakup coach. You can change the language of this podcast in the YouTube video settings. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing change your ex from relief to regret. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Subscribe to my weekly support emails. The link is in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing change your ex from relief to regret. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you need them to reconsider their decision. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 3 ways to change your ex from feeling relief to feeling regret. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is stop the negativity. Now before we begin, please let me know in the comments if you think that right now your ex feels relief from ending your relationship or regretful of their decision. Let me know in the comments and we will see what the community thinks. But going back to point number 1 and the importance of stopping the negativity, this is going to really help you moving your ex's mindset from feeling relief to feeling regret. Now unfortunately, dumpies, at the time of a breakup, your ex-dumper is going to be feeling relief. They're going to be feeling relief that the task at hand of ending your relationship has been completed. And the reason why they feel relief is because it is not easy. Now you might think to yourself, well, it's a lot easier than being in my position where I've actually been dumped and had my heart broken. It sounds pretty easy to me. But you have to understand, dumpies, that your ex-dumper didn't likely come to this decision easily. When they got into the relationship with you, they wouldn't have planned that they would one day be ending it. This wasn't part of the master plan. They didn't believe this was what was going to happen. But unfortunately, along the way, they lost romantic emotional attraction. And when this attraction hit the necessary low point, they felt they needed to action the breakup. And hence, at this time, for whatever reason they are feeling this loss of attraction, it would not be a relationship that they are enjoying. That just is common sense. If they've lost attraction, then sadly, they are not enjoying or believing that this relationship is moving forward in a direction which is going to satisfy, fulfill, and ultimately make them happy in the future. So they want to get that feeling of relief by ending the relationship and going down a different path. So it's not just about the fact of ending the connection because they're not happy, but it's the realization that they are likely going to be hurting you. And this isn't something that most dumpers want to do. Contrary to popular belief, most dumpers do not want to hurt their dumpee. So they're getting to the realization that the relationship isn't working for them. They're feeling stressed, they're feeling anxiety, they're feeling upset. So they want to get to that feeling of relief, but on top of that, I want to get there, they also have to action the breakup, which in itself can add additional anxiety. So you can see, at the time of the breakup, when all is said and done, your ex-dumper is likely to be feeling relief. They're feeling relief that they can now go down their own path, which they are hoping is going to make them happier, but they're also feeling relief that they have scaled the mountain that they felt maybe they couldn't do, which was actually getting to the point of ending the relationship. They may have felt anxious, nervous, even scared, not wanting to hurt you, not wanting to break your heart, but ultimately not realizing or understanding that there could be a different way. So they came to a conclusion they had to do this, they had to try this, experience this in a new way, living their life without you. Now, as a dumpy, I know this is not something that you want to hear, but It makes a lot of logical sense when you think of it in this regard. So at the time of a breakup and post-breakup, your ex-dumper is feeling relief. And we need to transition that relief to regret if we are ever going to get them back. And that is why point number 1 is going to help you. Stop the negativity. Because you're automatically going to be feeling negative at the time of a breakup. It's understandable. I'm not suggesting that you should be all singing and dancing and happy. I know you're going to be feeling negative. I know it's very natural to not only be feeling heartbroken and upset, but also potentially feeling angry, feeling bitter. Some of these feelings will come a little further down the line. The stages of grief come and go and come back again. The experiences you have could change not just week to week, but even day to day. You might wake up one day feeling a totally different set of emotions in comparison to what you feel the next day. But what you will be overwhelmingly feeling, unfortunately, is negativity. And if you live your life in a negative way, not only will this not help you get your ex back, but it's not going to help you achieve your own life goals, whatever they might be, irrespective and not even connected to your ex. Because negativity connects with negativity. More negativity brings further additional negativity. So if you are living your life in a way where you feel so angry, so bitter, you're sending your ex nasty text messages, you're leaving them missed calls and leaving voicemails where you're shouting and saying unkind things, even though deep down you want your ex back, you're feeling so frustrated, shocked, blindsided, that you say this negativity. You pollute the world with your sadness, your frustration, your anger. These are the things which are not going to help you. Now, don't get me wrong. It is important to express your feelings. And if you are feeling depressed, you must contact a local doctor. Speaking to a counsellor, a therapist, maybe you want to speak with myself through my audio coaching service. It's important to release those emotions in a safe way. But if you are putting them out into the world, anybody who is hearing them, feeling them, really getting the vibe that you are just feeling very negative, this isn't going to help you in any way, shape or form. If you behave in this way at work, you might end up losing your job, for instance. But when we connect it to your ex and considering how can we change relief to regret, we've got to make sure you stop the negativity. Because if you continue being negative in this regard, do you think that your ex-dumper is going to think, well, actually, I made a bad choice. I now regret my decision. Or instead, are they going to be thinking, actually, I made the right choice. I feel relief through ending the relationship because not only did I think at the time it was the right decision, but now my ex-dumpee is being really, really negative, angry, bitter, maybe even the thought that they're becoming twisted in their mindset to a point of where your ex-dumper wants to run a mile even further away from you than they do right now. And that is why we have to do sometimes the hardest thing in actually being as positive as we can be. We might not feel positive, but if we don't live in a positive way, there is no way our ex-dumper is going to regret their decision. Because they're just going to be thinking, I've made the right choice. Look, my dumpee is acting terribly right now. The things they are saying are horrendous. The way they're behaving is not like someone that I want to spend time with. And therefore, I am feeling additional relief through ending the relationship because now I can see what they're truly like. Your dumper might be thinking, this is the real you, this horrible, angry, bitter version of you. You don't want that. I'm sure that's not the real version of you. It's the pain. I understand that. But we need to live our life as positive as possible because if we put negativity into the world, we're going to get negativity back. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please give this video a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel to keep updated. And point number 2 is Outdo their life prediction. So today we're speaking about change your ex from relief to regret. And one of the ways we can transition that thought from relief to regret is if you outdo their predictions that they have for you through your life. So for instance, maybe they believed that you would always work the same job which was beneath what you were capable of. Now you might think, well, I'm happy at my job. And listen, I'm not here to say whether you should be trying to get an additional job if you believe that the one you are doing is making you happy. But perhaps in your relationship, one of the things holding you both back was because you couldn't afford to get your own place together. And maybe to get your own place together would mean that you would need to step up the ladder in some regard regarding your job, your work life. And maybe you were resistant to try something new, to try a job where maybe you could earn some more money. Maybe you are rejecting the possibility of moving up that ladder for whatever reason that might be. Now, if that is the case, your expert-dumper is going to be predicting that your life pattern for where your life is going to play out is you are going to stay in this particular job forever. Now again, I'm not saying that you have to change this unless you truly genuinely want to for you. You certainly shouldn't be only doing it for your ex. But if you come to the conclusion that actually getting a different or better job could be good and right for your future, and if you decide to try and improve yourself in this kind of way, well, the byproduct of this is that your expert-dumper is going to be shocked because you are outdoing their life prediction. They never thought you would ever leave this job, the job that maybe they moaned at you about, and now you have. Again, you should be doing this for you, not just your expert-dumper. It can't just be for them. It's got to be a genuine decision that you believe is going to be right for you. But it's not just about work. It could be about a whole manner of things. Maybe, for instance, you can't drive. You didn't really have an interest in driving. But now you're thinking, actually, learning how to drive could be really helpful for me. So you learn how to drive. You improve your skill set. This is the type of thing that once again, you are outdoing their life prediction. If you can become someone that they look at and think, wow, actually, my expert-dumpy is not going on the trajectory that I predicted. They're going on a better, higher, faster-paced trajectory in a direction that I find attractive. That is going to be something which can intrigue your ex, moving from that relief to the regret, that feeling of maybe I ended the relationship too soon. Maybe I didn't give my dumpy the time or the opportunity to live their life, because if I had, then look what could have been achieved. I jumped the gun. I shouldn't have ended the relationship when I did. Those are the types of feelings that you want your expert-dumper to be experiencing, transitioning from relief to regret. And as we move through today's podcast, I'm going to be giving you that icing on the cake of how you can really move that dial. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. This is the best and diamond level of support that I can provide. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is become the diamond. So this is, as I described, the icing on the cake of how you can try and move that dial from relief to regret. You need to become a diamond. So what is a diamond? Well, a diamond is rare. A diamond is scarce. That is why it has that value, because it's not something you can find everywhere. It's not something you can get easily. So what does that mean in regard to what we're talking about today? Well, first of all, You should never be contacting your expedumper again unless they contact you first. That is the baseline of my version of a no contact rule. Now, there are some caveats connected to your specifics, but generally speaking, that is a good starting point. That helps you become scarce. You are no longer chasing your ex. You're no longer contacting your ex unless they contact you first. That is the first part of becoming a diamond. But the second part is becoming unique. We need you to become unique. You can't be like everybody else. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you need to find something that separates you from the crowd. You need to find a hobby or an interest or something which adds a string to your bow, which isn't what every other person does. Now, this might sound difficult, it might sound hard, and I'm not going to deny it's not the easiest thing in the world to find, to think of, and to do, because if it was, then of course everybody would be doing it. This is the type of thing that I speak about with my clients through my audio coaching service, because becoming a diamond separates you from a crowd, and anybody who sees you, including your ex, is then going to be thinking to themselves, actually, I really wish I was spending time with that person, really helping your expedumper, moving that dial now fully to regret. Whether it is friends of friends passing on this information to your ex, whether it is social media showcasing what you're doing, or perhaps the complete silence of no contact builds up enough intrigue for your ex to reach out to you just on that basis, and then they find out exactly what you've been doing to give that extra wow factor. However it comes about, it can really, really help you. But you need to be finding a hobby, an interest, something to add an extra string to your bow, which separates you from the average person. Now, earlier on, we mentioned about improving your job or maybe learning how to drive. Those are great things, and those are things which are important to move your life in an upward trajectory, but you could describe them as somewhat common. These are things which we should all be doing and we should all be thinking about as a general sense. It's not something which is particularly outrageous to say, hey, I'm learning how to drive. It's quite a common skill. It's a very useful skill, but a fairly common one at that. Now, let's just say, for instance, you decided you wanted to learn magic. You wanted to become a bit of a magician. That could be something which potentially could be described as a unique skill, something which separates you from most people. Now, that's just one example from an infinite amount of possibilities about what you could be doing. But hopefully you can understand where I'm going with this. You need to be a diamond. You need to be scarce, and you also need to be unique.